trying to swallow a gulp of saliva. Seriously contemplating a battle. Be careful, butler. Did he finally arrive within a day? The most obvious is looking at him. Slowly nod and say ha ha ha. This kid is really fast. There's still 1 more hour, just 1 more day. But then why? If I tell him to lose, he loses. Rode through Lam Duok Long. The fastest runner in the 6th longest Fong. Finally ran to break his leg. Dying of fatigue right here. Tell me, is it the most appropriate death? Not for him, ha 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 ha. I said it, probably laughing furiously. People can't help but look at this scene with fear. This person is the devil. Just be guilty of it. If he doesn't die, he will be tortured. Life is not equal to death. Adultery 357 tormented target. Solved 1 on. The sky is also dark, but most probably they don't stop. Turn your head and look at me. Get the box. Let's see who the next bad guy is. I can't wait to start the next round. Listen carefully to your words. I didn't dare to bring it. The box comes in, hands in. Most likely the world again took out wood products. Look at the inscription above. One day I saw number 2 appear. Most likely, the cold is getting worse and worse. It's a narrow alley. The next person allowed to hunt it was Yu Yushan. Just finished a property in his hand and shot out. Fireworks again bloom in the sky. Yu Wushan on one side of the jungle is constantly fleeing. I looked at the 2 fireworks that had just been fired, and my face was immediately terrified. He didn't realize that so quickly it was his turn. Children must not be angry. Son of a bitch. Isn't he the fastest runner every day? The sow has not long been found. They're still being eaten. If you extend your time by a few days, it's not a V, you're saved. Wreck is waste. When you are alive, it is still a waste after death. Not to be charged with anything. When he finished, he immediately lifted his feet and ran forward. I can't stop feeling lucky in my heart. Where he is now is not far from Kim. Once you get there, you can go back through the match immediately. Then he can be safe. Probably the most likely one has just dealt with the whole thing. Still haven't caught up with him. He still has time. If he's fast enough, he can survive. Unfortunately, he did not suspect. The basic is the most certain. I don't want them to survive. So this is his chance. Why? I just want to give them a sense of hope. Then they're sent to hell. Their shoes to death. Just like that, you can run away. Not long after, ice out of the forest. In front of him there was a fight. When I saw it, I felt like life was back. Endlessly excitedly laughing out loud. Ha 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 ha. Here we are. While he was glad to be alive, suddenly, a cruel low-pitched sound entered his ear. Are you coming now? Your father has been waiting for you all day. Keep your eyes on. I saw the 2 most serious people. Out from behind the tree. His eyes looked at him. I can't help but be afraid. Both feet fell to the ground. I can't believe you 2. He doesn't understand why. They showed up there again. And how that? Most people know that he will come here and hide. It was as though he was thinking in his heart. Most likely, they didn't answer his question. Just laughing for an hour. Lift your feet forward and speak coldly. You son who killed himself stopped me. How should I let you die? Difficulty swallowing a gulp of saliva. Yu Sun was the most evil step-by-step pressed. Soon threatened to cry. Get down on your knees, please forgive me. Please forgive me, I only work for others. Dealing with that girl due to impermanence. Standing behind flying machinations. Hong Futh and Theme first. We only work on orders. If you want revenge, you can beat them. I'm just a naive old guy. You see me as trash on the side of the road. People often hear this again. Face is unsightly. His mother is afraid of death. Point the spear at them. Serious outfit. It's cold to see this. What is the slowest 6 words? Before the time of death. They're all the same cowards. Most likely, they didn't hear his words. In his eyes came a ray of disgust. I want you to speak up coldly. That's why you took the talent of stopping children. It was also ordered by them. Slightly startled with fear, his head was full of cold sweat. Stamping head, please forgive. They said they wanted her dead. We only work under orders. That's right. I still have that lady's charm. I will pay you now. Please spare me a life. I said, I'm in a hurry. Out of him came a small censer. There's an amber session inside. My eyes are filled with prayer. But most likely I just saw it. His face dropped in pain. The anger is great. Maybe you don't know. Leave the body for too long. It will no longer work at all. Story. Yu Sun trembled his body. Trembling voice without words. I can't help but stare at the evil. Probably the most angry man yelled at his mother. You know what you're giving this to Lao Tzu for. You feel the spirit leaving your body. Is it the most painful? Ha ha ha, that's because you haven't seen the trick. That's Lao Tzu. The most divine swinging hand changed the mouth. The mountain immediately felt it. The body cannot move. More pain falling on the ground. Most likely, he slowly walked in front of him. In my hand, I don't know when. There was a laughing lake, I said. You know, you feel strange, don't you? I can control your actions. I know exactly where you are. Ha ha ha. Today I will reveal this secret to you. In fact, you're not poisoned. It's that we gave a bunch of ghosts. Parasites in your body. These demons are spiritually in touch with us. So no matter where you are, I also hold it in my hand. Most likely, the lake opened. Every silkworm's blood rushing inside the lake, falling out. In my eyes can't hold fear. Vu Sun desperately spoke up. So there's no such thing as a death game. From the beginning, you decided the end. Then we're full of hope to find the key. Maybe they have a chance to survive. For what? Most likely, I can't help but laugh for an hour. You don't have to be so pessimistic. In fact, you still have the victory. Because I'm not sure I'm in a hurry to catch the others. Just someone to play with. Then the others. There will be enough time to find the key to escape. You mean something. My heart trembled unconsciously. On the face of Wu's son appeared TIA panic. Looking towards the worst of all. Face up to the sky, laugh out loud, and to eyes show up. Perhaps most coldly loud Zu's Italian voice was clear. And now the old man will play with you. The voice has ended. The most likely is the lake. The blood of silkworms inside violently fell on Wu's son. Threatened him. His face immediately turned white with horror and shouted loudly. What do you want to do to me? Ha ha ha, it's not clear yet. I will make you feel the way to die even more painful. Amber measles can. In the eyes can't help but condense. Most certainly the two eyes show up fierce ray 358. At the same time a cry of anguish. Immediately echoing through everyone's ears. The silkworm's blood is constantly moving into his body. It hurt him like he was torn apart. Just in the blink of an eye Wu body. Wu's son has been silkworm. It makes you appear full of wounds. Fresh blood doesn't stop flowing. His face was also covered in blood. Painful twisting. Blue veins rise. The corners of my mouth couldn't help but shiver. I want to bite my tongue. But controlled by silkworm blood. He couldn't finish it successfully. Most likely, I watched him suffer so much. Body rolling on the ground in anguish moaning. Calmly explain. From the day that 1,000 of these silkworms were fed by my blood. But that little bit of my blood. How can you make them drunk? So they're constantly fighting their heads off. Bleeding just for a drop of blood. Since then, the character has also become violent. Something is good now. There's your body here. They can have a fight. Their mouths are small but very sharp. They like to tear at people's nerves. That pain. It's probably better than getting the amber out of the body. 100 times more. Not to mention they like to eat fresh. I usually eat and help you stop bleeding. You won't die so quickly. Just take it slow, ha ha ha. Ah, you kill me. Yu Shan painfully bit his teeth and growled. But most likely, they despise the lips. Smiling, you must know. The pain you are suffering. It's to buy time for your brother. And the other name. Is he not your master? You didn't listen to him very much. What is this little sacrifice? Fuck the owner, go find them. Sao, I have to take the blame for them alone. The pain in both eyes is about to fall apart. I can't help it anymore, screaming. His face suddenly dropped. The best of the world appeared. Tears of the tone said. I don't accept him as the owner anymore. Why did you listen to his orders before? And made her die so tragically. Whatever you do, you have to do yourself. Just enjoy it. Probably the coldest laugh. Then don't pay attention to him. Go aside and calmly practice. Strictly on one side. Look at it in fear. Cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Look at the person in front of you. How strong the mind is, after all. Before a tragic situation, you can be on the cold side. This moment, in his heart, he grew more afraid. Maybe this butler isn't hiding his revenge. No matter how arrogant the 7 families used to be, there's never been anyone dare to use this cruel trick. But he doesn't know for sure. For a long time, I wanted to fight the 7. But he never thought either. You will be so cruel to these people. They chose to kill anyway. The wind has reached its limit. So say, if they're the main way to fight, you can even let them die happily. But he is the one who has an enemy. He paid 11 times more than the people involved and couldn't live. Time is like this every second of every minute. The scream of the mountain never stopped. After one day, Yushan was eaten by silkworm blood. The skin on the body is no longer there. The face is horribly deformed, a dry appearance. His whole body was red, and there was no blood. Because the blood in him was soon covered in blood. Silkworm swallowed whole, but he kept screaming in pain. Most likely, look directly at the scene of Yuvu-san. Slowly coming in front of him, he mocked. Look at you now. It's like a dry body with water on it. Kill me in this pain. The mountain is basically unbearable. Please speak up. But most likely the cold and contemptuous said yes. It's only been a day. Go ahead and enjoy it slowly. Until the second day, the whole body of Vu-san's veins were corroded. There's only 8 pieces of meat left on the ground. There's no connective tendons. It became a pile of ruins. As the pain of the mountain did not go down, he's still screaming hoarsely. The man next to me couldn't see it anymore. The terrible situation on the ground made him want to vomit. Try to hold down. Look at the most positive side of the entire story. The butler. His veins have been ripped open. It's turned into milk. The most likely way to laugh. I didn't even notice the mountain on the ground. Speak up coldly. Don't be in a hurry. From tomorrow they'll start biting into his bones. The third day passed. The meat was also eaten clean. He opened his mouth to call, but it doesn't make a sound. On the 4th day, the blood of silkworms was gnawed to the bones of Yuvu-san. Time just goes by. Every day Yuvu-san was thoroughly eaten by silkworm blood. By the 9th day there was almost nothing. I don't know if it was intentional or intentional. The silkworm's blood hasn't given him a ray of breath yet. Let him experience the feeling of being deprived every second. But this tragedy, people before the National Stone Town slowly follow up. To the 9th day, someone who couldn't take it anymore started vomiting. The people of Yumin Cup also fell into fear. It's a little disheartening. Look at the mountain inside. To the 9th day. Most likely the world doesn't want to torture him anymore. Slowly escape from the state of cultivation. He stood in front of him looking down. It's like a lion laughing. Look at the prey in the eye. Want to die? Probably at this hour. He slowly opened his eyes. He looked at the man who spoke with dismay. Remember, you'd rather make fun of the king of hell than make fun of me. The most certain words are snapped. Thousands of strong silkworm blood spurts out. Thoroughly, it would eat away at a piece of bone. When I saw this scene, I was scared. I can't help but shake. Take a deep breath. Hurry up and bring the box in front of you. The worst of all. The butler by. No more. Probably the most gentle hand. In his eyes flashed a cruel ray of resentment, said, I wasted too much time with this guy. The main culprit is about to escape. Number 1 Hong Fu Then Thien. You are waiting. Let him escape, not let you escape. He fired again, the fireworks in the air. Make the royal palace elegant in a distant place incorporeal. Stop looking back. Look at the sky. There's only one flower in bloom. Hong Fu Then Thien gritted his teeth and said, This devil finally targeted me. Ha ha ha, you Vu Sun, you did a good job. Having finished speaking, he immediately lifted his feet and ran forward, because now he has reached the battle gate. Just a few meters of water left and he could escape. Thinking of this, he laughed excitedly. But it's too late. Can last that long. Of the evil Kier. Sacrifice for this young master. Also considered the dead have meaning. Track fam, you originally had the chance to kill me. But you created this deadly game. And killed me on the 3rd turn. How much time do we have to get out of here? Sure. This time the Lord will let you win first. But the prince is the real king. Sooner or later you will die in my hands, ha ha ha. I often see the scene outside. Breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that the world is not chasing the great prince. That's enough, and the chance for revenge is still there. Not bad. But right now, there's a whisper in the back. Maybe the world can't catch up with the big guy. You're about to win. Look at the people behind. Impermanent leadership cannot help but sigh. Your heart has been most definitely shaken. Just keep going like this. He will destroy the reputation accumulated over 1,000 years. The king's death. At the same time, inside the mountain, the Holy Father stood at the door of the battle. He held the key in his hand and laughed. Hey ha Habijanderheden. The prince is about to return safely. Unfortunately, for a moment, he stood in front of the end of the show. One foot wants to enter the door. He was hit by a painful battle. Suffering rolled on the ground. In the eyes can't help shrinking. There's a little panic in my heart. He didn't expect maybe the world could catch him to this place. This is the most likely time to come from behind. With a cold, evil smile said, Hey ha ha ha. Hong Fu Then Thien. You really think that the Lord will let you run away? 359 Long Soul Owner. The sound of the worst is getting closer and closer. The Holy Father is not content. He dropped the face that he used to be arrogant about, trying to crawl on the ground towards the gate. He must survive. Not just for life, but also for the dignity of royalty. You can't die laughing. Ridicule of others. He must be the ultimate winner. Heaven is worshipped by people. At one point, he was about to enter the battle. Get out of this place. Most likely it fell from the sky. Slammed straight down his back. He pressed him deep into the earth. Don't spit out a sip of blood. Grand Prince. The king's elder could not help but cry out in fear. Look at the heavenly Hong Fu, almost to the front door. Face full of dissatisfaction. Most likely sitting on the back of the mountain, revealing the cold smile of the heavenly Hong Fu. If you let him run away, he will die. Ha ha ha. From Kim Mon to Fire Mon. That's how far you go. Hong Fu turned his head to look behind. It's hard to speak up, but I can see behind the back of the worst. An ostrich with a dead body is slowly coming down. It is also important to jump down. Probably the most chilling laugh. Now you understand. Even though Lao Tzu did not have a clue, but there's still a strident. He's famous for his speed. Catch you in a short time. It's as easy as turning your hand. Hong Fu and Thien immediately bite the teeth. AI resentment. Why did he forget about this? Wrong speed calculation of the most popular. How much time does it take? Make up your appearance. This time back, it will become a joke for all the families in heaven. The Holy Spirit is now self-sufficient. The worst man jumped off his back. Difficult to kneel on the ground. The face is a little sad. Shaking your head, if that is the case, kill me. The prince is the king of heaven. Even if you die, you have to save your face. His eyes softened. Most likely, he looked at him deeply, laughing coldly into a loud "Oh." You want to die and keep your nose. Okay. I will help you die the best way. Hong Fu and Thien panicked eyes hastily shouted. What do you want to do? Probably laughing for an hour. Close to his ear, he whispered, so I could tell you. The best way to die. The voice has ended. Most likely, he suddenly bent down. Bite one in his ear. And then suddenly it's tearing down. A sound of a dreary scream came out. EO. Surely what are you doing? What to do, Sao? Don't you want the best way to die? Buried your body in the stomach like that. It's much worse than burying in this deep mountain. Most likely, he laughed for an hour. Rays of bloodlust in my eyes. That's why outsiders hear this. We are afraid together. Maybe the devil wants to bite the dead. Emperor Long Hong Fu Then Thien Sao. This can't be too scary. Such a trick for the enemy. It's the cruelest trick they've ever seen. But the Holy Father heard that the face changed. He looked back at the evil in front of him. 1,000 times he didn't expect it. The worst of them wants to eat him alive. Hong Fu and eyes of heaven unconsciously shrink in fear to speak. Track fan. You are evil. You want to eat me alive. The corners of the mouth are slightly raised. The mouth is covered in blood. After biting down one side of the ear of the royal family, in the eyes of the most evil unconsciously condensed, there was madness and ferocity on his face. You said no wrong. The old man is still thinking. So how do you wear your shoes? It hurts you the most. But in the end, I decided to use that to end you. It's not the most painful punishment. Your death is 100 times more painful than yours. This is not the most humiliating punishment. Your death is much more humiliating than yours. But that, as for the one who killed you, it is you. He is determined to choose this way of dying for you. Do you know why? Ha ha ha. Because this way of dying pleased Lao Tzu the most. Eat fresh meat, drink fresh blood. Only this way, to take away the deep regret. That is the word for you. To calm some of the anger in Lao Tzu's heart. I just finished the most sure thing again. Bite down on the neck of Hong Fu Thanthin. He bit down a layer of flesh on him. Can't help the pain. He raised his head screaming. Pain to tears that could not be held down. The remaining face. Seriously see this scene. The eyelids can't help trembling. Take a few steps back. I dare not look anymore. Everyone outside saw this. In my heart is not free from fear. There is only a tendency. This other hour, you know what this action is. At this moment, I feel sorry for goddess people. It shows how deep. That's how much his heart hurts. It's so painful to use behavior like this wild animal. I can heal the wounds in my heart. Not to suffer in your heart. Probably the most, more painful because of the death of the incense. How much she hurts. Not only hurt for my feelings, but for the most sure. Aggressive little bite. Hong Fu's lips were tireless, her head screaming out loud. The prince is the king of heaven. If you bite the button, I will be punished. Smiling for an hour. The most ordinary person calmly shakes the head of heaven. Lao Tzu is always against heaven, not to mention that destiny. You're just mentally masturbating yourself. That, even if the one who is truly blessed by God is okay. Dare to confront Lao Tzu, even if it is the 9 heavens. He also had to tear him apart. I said, again, I want to bite down. Makes Hong Fu Thanthin pain to clench his teeth. That's right now. In the body of Hong Fu Thanthin, suddenly the dragon roared. Emit a bright light. I can see the light constantly coming from you. Hong Fu Thanthin, probably not out of fear. He used blood. Sealed to 6 full body of Hong Fu Thanthin. That's him. You can still unleash that much power. But very quickly, why immediately transparency? One head Kim Long, right now, from within the body of the powerful Heavenly Father. Straight through the surest man. In the eyes involuntarily shrinks. I can't help but spit out some blood. The Holy Spirit sees this scene endlessly. Laugh out loud. Ha ha ha, surely those who create their own karma cannot live. A common man like you dreaming of illusions. Bite the king. One life is this young master. Indeed, this young master possesses the mandate of heaven. Blessed. Ha ha ha. Fuang Thursday Batch and Dak Ko battled the sky. Glance at each other. Both times appear reluctantly. Method of collection. He also did not expect that Dragon Soul would appear to protect the master. Maybe that Hong Fu Thanthin has the appearance of a true emperor. The dragon spirit insisted on protecting him. Only the surest of mortals despise the 9 lips. Looking at the land of the dragon soul flying in the sky. 2 eyes immediately flashed tone. A grim land spirit. Dare to face the king. It's boring to live. I just finished speaking on my forehead. Suddenly there was a blue flame. Burning brightly. Right after that, the more she grows into a bird. Rushed towards Kim Long, aggressively hit down. Hong Fu was horrified and panicked. The most sure look. Trembling to speak. Probably you. What kind of god are you? I heard you call yourself a king. Who are you after all? 360 Dragon Soul received the celestial and celestial transformation. Kim Long in a moment. The bird was afraid to see the inflammatory bar. Want to run away. It's too late. The bird immediately caught up with it, and a pan knocked it down. Kim Long a second ago was strong and aggressive. This moment, it's like a cricket worm in a bird's claw. He was taken back to the worst. The eyes can't help but condense. The horrified white man couldn't help but scream out loud. Of course, there's also magic in that boy's body. It is even more dangerous than the Long Valley. The soul of the Holy Spirit. Jia Chongfeng now smiles again. Looking at the most positive side, more and more appreciative. On the contrary, it is the natural capital over there. My eyes are getting worse and worse. Probably the most powerful. The greater the threat to the emperor. But he doesn't understand at all. It's obviously just a kid from a third-rate family. But it's all over you. That people can't see through. Unconsciously sighing. Looks like he has to find time. Go to the high priest. Think about it, the sky can't help it. The base speaks. What's the kid's background? But to the whole country. You must also bow to God. But this question. Impermanent leadership has no answer. Even him at this moment. It doesn't stop showing up. It is true that people are not equal to heaven. Even if he is impermanent, he is invincible. It is the heart of man, not the will of God. Maybe this boy. It is also the destiny of the Chi man who possesses the qualities of an erudition or a strong existence. It has more to do with earth. Hongfu turned his head to look back at the bird. Constantly rising in fear. Most likely, his cold eyes looked at him. Say with contempt, you don't need to know who I am. You just need to know one thing. To be guilty of sin is the greatest mistake of your life. Most likely I didn't explain it. In the blink of an eye, bend over. Stretching hand squeezed the throat of the heavenly Hongfu. Take the whole cut off. Just for a moment. Fresh blood is flowing. Hongfu sweet in the face shrinks. Feel the life rapidly receding. The light in you is slowly fading away. At the same time, the dragon in the bird's claw is set free. But it's the most powerful. On the contrary, surrounding him, the needle immediately flows into the body of the most powerful. Do not raise your eyes to the sky and scream. Probably not even in time to react. The iridescence of light surrounded his whole body. The bird saw this. He showed a little joy, nodding. And then get into the strongest body possible. The Emperor of Heaven saw this scene. Not out of fear, shout to the King of the Dragon's soul. Heaven and earth. The King of Heaven fell helplessly in a pool of blood. The body is getting weaker. I looked at the brightest light in the world. His face showed a little unwillingness. I can't stop screaming in my heart. That's his regal nature. How can the sky change its position? He is the future owner of the universe. The owner of the dragon returned it to him. But his throat was most definitely removed. It's basically impossible to sound out loud. They can only look at it. In the end, I can't stand death. The two eyes still show up. But outside the town of Kwakji, everyone looks in the most certain direction. In the heart of terror not only. Suddenly right now, a thunder explodes. The whole air shows no sign of darkness. Thunder broke out everywhere. The sky can't shake. People can't shake their bodies. Only the most certain. The world is still the same, raising its face to the sky, and screaming. Four-side optical needle more and more bright. Prime Minister, what's going on? Duong Song, old face terrified. He looked at the sand and said, sweeping eyes at everyone. The wind cannot help but breathe deeply.